assessment of today's game? Was that 2 points lost in your view?
Yes, I agree with you.
The assessment of the game?
It was a game of high intensity where I felt in the first half we looked always like we could score every time we crossed halfway line, and in the second half we looked a bit more flat physically, less sharp, and we couldn't find the creativity, the fluency around the box, and nor the vision that we are used to. And I think our level dropped, and we're a bit too stretched as well, a bit unlucky with the penalty decision, and Spurs defended well on some crosses in the final 10-15 minutes. I feel there were some balls with the fact that the three tall players, we couldn't make enough of corners, and we missed some crosses as well. So overall it was high intensity. Technically I think the level dropped in the second half, and the desire was there, and maybe the result is fair.
Did you say the penalty was harsh?
Yeah.
Just talking about the energy, Arsene, was it anything to do with your travels in the Champions League?
No, I don't think so, no. No, maybe I felt we're not compact enough to stretch, and after you run more, and we in the first half, yes, not in the second half. In the first half they played many long balls, and they stretched us because we pressurized very high, so it's more difficult. And did we get a little bit a mental blow when they equalized? I don't know, but overall I felt that when you were questioned in the final 30 minutes, we had no physical answer good enough to win the game, but we tried. I cannot question the spirit and the intensity of the game, but we looked a bit flat.
Did you do anything specific to counter the back three, either before or during the match, to counter Spurs' back three? Did you change anything about your plan?
We know how to play against a back three. We knew that they could play with a back three. I felt that was not the basic problem. I feel there's some other areas in the game where we had the problem.
Theo Walcott said he was surprised by it. Were you surprised that they played a back three?
Not really, no.
Arsene, Liverpool are currently winning, so the international break could start with Liverpool and Chelsea first and second. Does that say something about teams involved in Europe? Because obviously those teams aren't involved in Europe.
I don't know, it's a bit easier to prepare for the games because you do not have intensity of a Champions League game. But if you ask them, both would like to play in there, so it's you cannot complain about that. There's a little physical advantage for sure, especially after the European weeks. But we have to live with that, and I wouldn't say that it is an excuse. And even if we are in front, it's a small difference after 11 games. It's very tight.
Does it surprise you that basically maybe there was a lack of sort of intensity or ruthlessness in the final third in the game such as this?
No, I felt we were quite dangerous in the first half a lot, and we created many dangerous situations in the second. But I felt we gave absolutely everything. But we're not as sharp physically as we can be in the final part of the game.
Why did you think the penalty was harsh, and do you think Wanyama was fortunate not to be booked? Maybe
Wanyama was?
Wanyama was fortunate not to be booked maybe 3 or 4 times.
He was very lucky to stay on the pitch today, of course. I think the penalty was harsh because from where I sit, it looked harsh. Didn't look dangerous to score. It didn't look any deliberate foul from outside. After even speaking to some referees, they can give it, you cannot give it. So personally, being manager of Arsenal football club, I prefer not to give it.
Can I ask you about Wanyama? What did you mean with the elbow on Walcott specifically, or just a accumulation?
A few fouls, the elbow on Walcott, for example, but the referee makes the decisions. You know, we have to cope with that and to deal with that, and we still, nobody stopped us from scoring a second goal, but we didn't do.